The fishing news is brought to you by Shoreline Insurance Agency and Okuma. Spring is here, yet the snow continues to fall due to another nor'easter, and looking at the long-range forecast, this March continues to be a miserable one with below normal temperatures. No wonder it's my least favorite month. I'm Tim C. Smith, sitting in for Fred while he continues to recover from foot and ankle surgery. There are some signs of life on the fishing front as tackle shops are extending their hours, charter and open boats are getting spruced up for the season ahead. The Super Hawk out of Point Lookout made a trip last Sunday to the offshore wrecks where they put together a nice catch of cod, pollock, and ling, and even some white hake. Looking around at the local marinas, I've seen some boats shedding their shrink wrap as they get ready for the upcoming fishing season. Just in time for that spring commissioning, Marine Mate of Lindenhurst will be holding their 40th anniversary sale on Saturday, March 24th. Get the best prices of the year with raffles every 30 minutes along with food and drinks from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're at 451 West Montauk Highway, Lindenhurst. Also in Lindenhurst, there'll be a fishing flea market at the Firemen's Pavilion, 555 Heiling Blvd from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get more info by visiting fishingfleamarkets.com or call the number below. The freshwater fishing scene looks like it has come alive. Maybe that's because the DEC has been stocking local ponds and lakes. Trolling the internet, I saw some postings like this brown from Massapequa Lake, another brown trout from Southard's Pond in Babylon, and this nice rainbow was taken from Hempstead Lake. Check this out. Greg from Trophy Tackle scored the 7-pound bass on an Optimum swim bait. Give Trophy Tackle a call for all the details and his secret spot. On a sad note, Fisherman writer John Raguzzo and wife Laura lost their son while he was on a mission in Iraq. Chris is survived by his wife Carmela and their 2 young daughters. He was a New York City fireman and was on his last tour of duty. A true patriot. We are less than 2 weeks away from the opening of Blackfish. Here's Captain Al Lorenzetti with some spring tog tips.
What are some specific techniques and tackle associated with blackfishing? You know, season's going to open up April 1st, so you better be ready to go out and get them. I think they're going to be in a little bit deeper water. They move inshore as it warms up as we get into May and June, but I think in April, when we have the open season, they're going to be out on those, maybe the offshore reef or the 100-foot wrecks. And of course on the rocks somewhere out further to the east out towards Montauk. So what do I use? I like a fairly stout rod, pretty tough tip. I like to use 50-pound braid, at the end of which I put about a 10-foot shot of fluorocarbon, 50 or 60 pound. And then I very simply make a loop, a drop-a-loop for my sinker, and a drop-a-loop for my hook, and then a loop on the bottom for my sinker, and I keep it as simple as possible. Very little terminal tackle, basically a hook and a sinker. As you see, I like to use only a single hook. 2 hooks to me is just more trouble. On the South Shore, we're always fishing wrecks where there's all kinds of debris and anchor lines and everything on it. The more hooks you have, the greater chance you're getting hung in the bottom. You can see I have my loop at the bottom for my sinker, just enough to hold bottom. You can see I have heavy fluorocarbon, probably 50 or 60 pound test, to a snelled Virginia style hook, and I like a 5/0 hook. If this hook gets caught on some debris on the bottom, the 50-pound line is enough to actually open the hook up and free myself so I can retrieve my tackle. Then I can either just swap the hook out or straighten it out with a pair of pliers again and be off and fishing. For spring blackfishing, you know, they lay pretty much dormant, don't really feed during the winter time, and the old timer told me that their teeth get a little soft in the gums, the teeth loosen up, and in the spring they prefer a soft bait versus a hard bait. So I prefer clams in the spring, and once they've been feeding and the teeth tighten up again, then crabs certainly in the fall. A little bit about technique. When I'm fishing, you know, blackfish, really, it's a style and it's a technique. Some people just can't catch them. I don't pull back unless I get a good strike. Little tiny hits or small fish, I ignore them. Even if they clean me off, that's fine. Let them clean me off. I'll pick it up and I'll change my bait. I'm waiting for a good strong hit and then to feel like the line is starting to walk away. That's a big fish that's taking the bait all the way down. Then I hit the fish and sink the hook, and that's usually a good one.
So far, Saturday looks like the best weather window if you want to wet a line. Maybe try for one of those holdover stripers in the Connecticut or white perch in one of the South Shore tidal creeks. And don't forget about herring, as there's a little bit of chatter coming from the west. Be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Tim C. Smith, and I'll see you next week for thefisherman.com. The fishing news is brought to you by Shoreline Insurance Agency and Okuma.